Hello friends and welcome. In this video I've got a little trick or technique you can do to try to speed up how you take towers. Now anyone can do this, support core, you can even use a familiar, and this applies to any tower technically, but it is usually applied to the enemy safe lane tower. So here's a clip first of what usually happens. You push the wave in this case I've got a catapult, I use a spell on the enemy creeps to try to get them killed off sooner. My next wave showed up in time though, so the tower is still hitting my creeps. I've got the catapult alive this whole time. Now we're all gonna come in and we're gonna take this tower. Now the thing is, this does take some amount of time. It's not bad, like we did get the enemy tower, that's great. But the longer it takes to get a tower, the higher chances are that the enemy team is gonna show up and try to defend it. Now, maybe they're dead. So maybe you have this window of opportunity. You just killed the enemy carry. They're going to respawn in 20 seconds. I want to get in as much tower damage as possible. Maybe I don't get the tower, but I want to do as much as I can. But typically you're trying to kill the tower when you do this. Let's go back real quick. Now up to here, my creeps were hitting the tower. And then because the enemy creeps show up, they get distracted. So they stop hitting the tower. And they're going to get killed off faster. Because right now, before these creeps showed up, it was just the tower killing these creeps. That was great for us. Creeps do a lot of tower damage if you let them. The reason creeps don't usually take towers on their own is because they're stopped. The tower kills them, and the enemy creeps stop them. So that's what's happening here. They're fighting the creeps, and you'll see that they are dying faster. Even when my next wave shows up, all of the creeps are hitting the other creeps, and only the catapult and I am damaging the tower. Now that's not too bad, but now you can see it goes a lot faster. Of course, Doom is here, but now that I have all these creeps hitting the tower, it's better, and the creeps aren't dying as fast because they're not dealing with an enemy wave. So now let me show you a different game. So I'm going to drop the same ward. The ward's irrelevant, it's not necessary for this trick, and I'm going to aggro the creep wave. Ignore my bounty hunter. He was he was a character. Now I'm gonna aggro the creep wave. Usually the trick entails pulling the creep wave out here and then aggroing it to the small camp. And the plan is that you will kill the tower, and then by that time these creeps will return to lane, and then you'll just farm them like usual. So this really is a trick for when you are trying to kill the tower, like now. Now in this case, my lifestealer actually comes to farm the creeps instead. I think he had the same idea I had. So I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to start hitting. And now you'll notice I have all these creeps hitting the tower. They're only dying to the tower, and the enemy creeps aren't really doing anything. And you take the tower a lot faster this way because there are no enemy creeps messing up your creeps. It sounds really obvious, but many people don't do it. So that's why I wanted to point it out here for you guys to show you. You can usually, you can do it in a lot of different ways. You can pull them. So here we go. You can pull them over to this small camp. In this case, this camp's dead. I actually didn't realize it in the middle of that game. So usually you would pull it to this small camp, let them fight, and then you come to the tower. Or you would pull it over here to the large camp. Either one works. You can de-aggro the enemy creeps here, and then you come back to the tower push. If you were to drag the creeps around and catch your next creep wave, that defeats the purpose. Not that I think you'd be fast enough to do it anyways, but the whole point is that you just get a bunch of creeps to come hit this tower all at the same time. So you don't really want to do that. You want to get rid of them here, or just kill them. So kind of what this lifestealer did. He is pretty farmed this game. We were having a pretty good lane in our top lane. If you have a core that just kills things really fast, like if Storm were here, I don't need to do this trick because Storm would just walk up here and instantly kill off the entire creep wave, and then there's like no point for it. This is for when maybe just you as a support are doing it. Maybe your cores are like, I don't know, Doom. He doesn't kill creeps that quickly. So you pull it up to the small camp. Now they're alive, so you could see. You pull them up here, and this buys you, like if you've ever done a small pull, buys you about like 15-20 seconds as they kill each other. Maybe you miss a creep or two worth of experience, but it's fine. You get the tower, and then you can come get the small camp and the creeps, and that makes up for it. So here's how it might look normally. I'm going to attack this creep wave, de-aggro them here, and then my theoretical offlaner, he's just going to keep pushing into the tower. So I come, I hit these creeps, I pull him over here, he goes in, I hit this, I back away a little bit, and the creeps will aggro onto each other like so, and then I can come over here and help push the tower. And in fact, I won't even hit the tower here. Let me just show you guys. Creeps do a lot of damage if you let them. So, like, if you're a support, most of the time, your tower damage is pretty meaningless to the tower. Like, your couple auto attacks are pretty useless. Unless you're like a Jakiro or Shadow Shaman. You'll see that my creeps just, like, that was about 2 waves of creeps. A little less, because some died. So I would say about 7 creeps. This is the first iteration of creeps. They're the weakest. They get stronger as time goes on, every 7.5 minutes. They did about half the tower. A little less, I know. But, like, how many auto attacks would you contribute if you just stood here and attacked the tower, but then your creeps get distracted by the enemy creeps? This trick is really good if you are a support that just doesn't add any tower damage. That can let you actually take towers. It makes a huge difference. Now, do be careful. If you don't see anyone on the map, you know, you can die. You do have 4 creeps chasing you, so if you suddenly get stunned and caught out back here, you will die. Probably. So do be careful. This is when you feel pretty confident, like, they're not fighting this tower. Let's take this tower as quickly as possible. I will drag the creep wave into this camp. I'll come hit the tower now. Now you get your damage in, and your creeps all get their damage in. Your creeps are going to live as long as possible. If you're really not feeling scared, you could even stay over here so that as the enemy creeps finish the small camp and they come back to the lane, if you still haven't gotten the tower yet, you just aggro those creeps and just run them in circles. You don't even have to, like, bring them to a camp. Just run them around so that your creeps get to hit the tower, and hopefully your core is as well. Let's take one last look at these clips just so you guys can really see the difference. The bottom clip is where I remembered to do the trick. Coincidentally, these towers started at about the same health and actually around the same time. Very lucky on that, didn't plan it at all. But you can see in the bottom clip, this tower is falling way faster. And as the clip ends here, you'll see how many creeps also survive because they didn't have to fight enemy creeps. It took 18 seconds to take that tower. I know there are some differences, some of the heroes, like, slight differences in creeps, but it's really hard to get an exact comparison, so just work with me on this. 13 seconds longer for the other tower, where we didn't do this trick, and the enemy creep wave walked in. And you can see I don't have as many creeps alive either, because they had to fight the enemy creeps, and I had to use spells to help kill those creeps. In this case, Lifestealer killed the creeps for me. I didn't have to do anything. If you do the trick where you aggro it to a small camp, no one has to use any mana or spells at all. If you have a hero that can just kill the creeps really quickly, like Storm or Leshrac, then yeah, they can kill them really quickly. They will use a bit of mana, though. So even in those cases, when you have those heroes, maybe you still do the trick just to save them some mana. But this trick is good. It saves you a ton of time. Do not blame me if you feed, though, okay? It does require a bit of map awareness to know when it is safe to do this and when it is the right situation. That situation tends to be, I have a short amount of time that I really want to capitalize on and take this tower. I know it is safe to walk back here. Maybe you have a ward, maybe you've killed someone, maybe you see them taking your safe lane tower, and you want to take the tower before they have time to rotate to defend. So try out this trick, see how it helps you take towers faster. The couple creeps you might miss, like, a few creeps aren't game-changing. Getting a safe lane tower, that is game-changing. It changes the shape of the map and how the game will play out. So a little bit of a niche case. You won't always be able to do this trick, but it is really useful when you can. Give it a shot. Again, don't flame me. It's probably your fault. User error. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one.